Welcome to Cantina Vizsla. For the safety of the bartenders and any other patrons, remember to keep all arms, legs, tentacles, or any other extremities you may have to yourself at all times. So come right in, grab a drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Coming to you from the Panic Room in the crap part of the cantina, I'm Sparrow, and with me, as always, is a man who some say his New Year's resolution was to be nicer to everyone but trees. All I know is I call him Stan.
Yeah, that's it. That is what I'm going for. Damn you, trees. Actually, I'm pretty pissed off at trees right now. Just looking at my yard and all the leaves in it. Ugh.
I will gladly take leaves over the snow and ice and negative degree temperatures I'm going to have for last week and this week.
Yeah, it looks like I got another one coming up.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. The temperatures after that are like, hey, it's going to be -8 overnight. No, thank you.
That's not enough degrees. You need some more of them.
Yeah, there needs to be more degrees, more sun, more daylight hours in a day, a little bit of everything. Need to train up. But
You're ready for it.
Yeah, that's what's going on here. How's your week been? Probably been a little bit rough. I mean, you've had a rough go of it.
Yeah, I need to report a robbery. Suspect was last seen wearing black and white stripes. Just straight up robbed my Saints. Just painful. So man, if you follow NFL at all, you're kind of up to speed on that. Just a botched call, probably cost them the game. We're a little salty down here.
A little. I went through it and heard there's billboards up, there's petitions, there's anything, everything imaginable of people putting things out about this.
Yeah, we don't get over things easily down here. It's it's pretty bad. Yeah, so we had that. I was able to see the lunar eclipse. Did the weather clear up for you up there?
It did, but it was also bitterly cold. So I went through, looked through my window and saw it was happening. I was like, oh, that's very cool. I wish I would go outside and see it. But yeah, no, I'm not that. I'm enthusiastic about it. I want to see it, but yeah, when it's single digits out and windy, I was like, no, thank you. It's cool, but I'll wait till something comes around in the summer and I can sit outside and actually watch it a little bit easier.
Yeah, I can't say I blame you there. I wasn't going to go out, but I was still up when it started, so I went out and was kind of getting ready for bed by the time it hit totality, so I went ahead and got out there and took a few pictures of it. I still need to process them and get them out there, but it was fun. And they actually, some of the guys that I'm in some Facebook groups with were recording the eclipse, and they actually captured a impact on the moon, a meteor impact. Had a little blip that flashed during it, so that was pretty cool. It made National Geographic and some of the astronomy science circles. So that was a pretty cool little thing.
Yeah, that's always cool to capture something like that when everybody's actually focusing on the moon and be able to get that is really cool.
Right, yeah.
So what else do you got here? I saw something in our collectibles chat that you were going off about.
Yeah,
trying out.
Yeah, I've turned a corner in my Star Wars collectible geekdom and ended up getting a Kylo Ren Black Series lightsaber. Because, what kind of Star Wars fan doesn't have a overpriced toy?
Wait, so it actually went through?
Yeah, it should be here Tuesday.
Oh, so it's shipped and everything. All right.
Yeah, it's shipped. It's I ended up getting they're about $150 to $200 new in the store, and I was able to get it for $100 with shipping with some modifications on it. Kylo's lightsaber in particular, if you see it in the movie, it's all raggedy and unstable. Yeah, and when you get the toy saber, the blade of it is smooth, which that was my biggest turnoff on it. But apparently people mod these things. They get like some silicone or something to make a flame covering for the sword or the saber, and it makes it look a lot more realistic. So this version has that modification on it. So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, you'll have to post some pictures of it when you get it in.
Right, and yeah, I'll definitely do that. So check out our Discord collectibles channel for that. But it was really my first time using eBay to actually bid against other people, and I can see the addiction of this thing, because as soon as you get on there and you start kind of bidding, it ceases to be about the product. Now it's about winning. It's not, I want to buy this lightsaber. I want to beat these other chumps trying to buy my lightsaber. So I'm watching it and ended up, like, sniping at the last second, which I don't know if that's against eBay etiquette or not. I don't care, but I got it.
Nope, that is. There are literally people that go through, especially on like eBay and those bidding sites, that will upgrade their internet. That way it refreshes quicker. That way they can do that because their refresh rate and their internet speeds are quick enough to pick it up.
Right. I can see that. So I got it. It's on the way. So there can never only just be one simple thing to my stupid brain. So I got this one, and I tell my girlfriend, "Okay, I got a Kylo Ren lightsaber coming in. It's one of the nice ones or whatever." So like, "Oh, cool. We can do that for Halloween now," because she loves matching things, group things. She wants me to be Kylo and her be Rey, or vice versa. You never know. And so as of today, I also have a Luke / Rey lightsaber on the way. So now we have a matching pair. Where last week I didn't really give a crap about this. Now I have two.
And they're another, with those Black Series lightsabers?
Yeah.
So the full bore Luke lightsaber. Nice.
Went all in, yeah.
Very nice. I don't know. So I'd be kind of more excited about Luke's lightsaber now. Yeah,
so I got to find a cool way to display them once I get them both in and get tired of swinging them around. So I've been eyeballing new streaming setups and new kind of office designs and decor ideas. So I'm really wanting to redo my room. It's kind of mustard yellow and ugly in here, and I want to spruce it up a little bit. Just really get the Star Wars theme going in here.
Very nice. It sounds like a great winter project here right before spring.
Right.
But yeah, I wish I would say I had a lot of cool things like that going on, but no. I went through and I was like, I had this knockoff Lego set that I got for Christmas that's a stadium, and I was like, I'll build this. Open it up and realize it is like, the pieces are like half the size as an actual Lego. And then the directions are just absolutely horrendous as far as trying to figure out what's actually going where. So it took me like 3-4 days to try to put this thing together, just because I'm looking at this and trying to count pieces and figure out what piece goes where. And it was very painful on my fingers and very frustrating being hunched over trying to find the correct pieces for everything. And the colors are so similar to begin with. They had a black, a dark blue, and a dark gray. That the dark blue and the black look exactly the same piece-wise, and then when you look in the directions, the dark gray and the black look almost identical. So it's so hard to go through and actually figure out what went where. By the end, I'm like, I don't even care if it's black or dark gray. I was like, somewhere along the line, I messed up somewhere and put black instead of gray or gray instead of black. And I was like, well, they're interchangeable now. I'm just gonna go with it.
How many pieces was the set?
I don't even know. It was a lot of small pieces. I was like, oh, it's gonna be like a Lego set, similar size. No, it was like a micro set. Ugh. There are pieces everywhere. I'm just glad it's built. It's done. I'm going to worry about trying to figure out how to display it or do something like that later. But right now, that's none of my concern because it's done. But speaking of completing things, what did you complete in the game this week?
Well, I finished up my Millennium Falcon. I got IG 2000 to 7 stars and finished out Millennium Falcon, and that was about it. But I think that was enough.
Hey, that is more than enough, especially for the way the fleet shards have been. Having that 7-star Millennium Falcon. How having a hit that much harder does make it a little bit more of an advantage, and people will avoid you because of that.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I didn't have anything fleet-wise. I said I was going to go through, and I'm shifting over to characters and was trying to wrap things up, and I did manage that. I got L3 up to 7 stars. L3 also went to gear 12. And
Nice.
then I took Vandor Chewbacca just this morning up here to 7 stars. So my scoundrels now are all 7 stars. So
Hey,
working
all right.
on taking them to gear 12 now for that team. And I'm pretty excited about finishing that off. And I'm committing to it, even though we got news coming out for characters I want. I'm sticking to the plan. I'm going to finish up Scoundrels, and then I will shift my gearing priority.
Yeah, I mean, when you got a good team like that and you know you have a good use for them, like in Grand Arena, and you're that close, might as well finish it out.
And even under-geared, because I had the Zetas on them, they were very helpful in Grand Arena this go-around. But before we get into that, what type of Star Wars news do we got?
Not a whole lot of just big news. Oscar nominations came out, and unsurprisingly, Solo was not up for Picture of the Year, but it did get a nod for Best Special Effects. Don't know if it's going to take that one. It's going up against some stiff competition. And Best Visual Effects against Avengers: Infinity War, Christopher Robin, First Man, and Ready Player One. So that's a pretty crowded field there. We'll see how that goes. I kind of feel like Avengers is going to take it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see that. You know, they have they have
haven't seen
Thanos
First
in there,
Man.
so yeah.
The one thing I will give Solo, though, is they have a lot more practical effects. And I think in the day and age of computer effects, you know, a good practical effect is kind of underappreciated these days.
That is kind of what Star Wars has been built on. Those practical effects are the same reason that Lord of the Rings also went through and got all the awards and everything for their effects, because so much of it was practical effects supplemented with the digital effects to make it pop and make it just a little bit better at the end.
Right. And I think practical effects age so much better, too. I mean, look at the prequels, all the CGI that was state-of-the-art at the time just looks like crap now. This is garbage.
Yeah, but I don't know. The prequels, yeah. I'm thinking of the original trilogy, and that one, trying to go through and find an original version to compare the effects is just very hard because of how many times they've remastered it. So
Yeah,
it's hard to
some
say
of those-
how it went through and aged over time.
Yeah, some of the stuff they did with the smoothing of, say, the space scenes looks good, but the CGI they added looks bad now. So anyway, that was the Oscar noms. Adam Driver was, we know him as Kylo Ren, was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Black Klansman. And Richard Grant, that's going to be in Episode 9, was also nominated for Can You Ever Forgive Me? So potentially Episode 9 could have an Oscar-winning actor in it.
Sounds good. I mean, just line it up, going through, having those Russian bots tear it down for something, then.
Right. Let's see what else we had. If you'd like to read some book news for you, the Pirate's Price book, I think we talked about that a couple of months ago. It's the one where Hondo is in it, and he talks about relates this and Chewie. It's for younger readers, like 7 to 12. So if you got some younger children, this may be a cool book for them. You can peek over the shoulder and see some of the cool stuff. So that's out there. And they announced that the Alphabet Squadron that we talked about last week is actually going to be a trilogy of books. And the first one's going to release on June 11th. So that should be pretty cool.
Yeah, I keep saying this, I'll have to get into these books, especially since all the books fantasy series that I've been reading are all kind of on pause because the writers take, a few years to write the next book. Because everybody's so timely with everything.
Right. Well, you can always get on the Audible deal and kind of listen to it in the background.
Yeah, I do enjoy that, so especially the amount of podcasts I listen to. So I'll have to look into more of that. But let's get into Galaxy of Heroes news now.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Yeah, didn't really have much going on as far as the calendar goes. That pretty much stayed exactly the same, and we didn't get an update until very late in the week. But
yeah, we've got Places of Power going on. We've got some Omega battles, and that's really it. We'll have another Territory War starting on the 31st. And we just wrapped up a Grand Arena, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. And so really nothing too exciting on the stock calendar. Again, we're going to talk about this in a minute, but they did announce a pretty major character coming back.
Well, yeah. I mean, basically the big Galaxy of Heroes news happened, Wednesday afternoon, and then Thursday when our weekly shipment updated. And all the KOTOR characters were back in that store along with Rebel ships. And everybody went through and goes,
yeah,
this kind of going through. I'm expecting Revan to be coming back here. Everybody was thinking here in 2 weeks, maybe a week. And they were kind of scratching their heads going, well, that's kind of optimistic of that happening. But the next day, CG did come out. And basically, that was all the update was. Hey guys, Revan's confirmed. He will be dropping January 31st. Get your farm on.
Right, yep. We pretty much knew it was coming. We thought we may have a little bit more time, but this to me says that, yeah, we are going to get something new for February for sure now.
Yeah, pretty much from what we were talking about, even when Revan first came out, I was on the optimistic side saying, maybe they'll throw Revan along with everything in Christmas and just have everything all at once. And I knew that was very optimistic on my part and hopeful. But realistically, we were figuring sometime in February is when we thought. We thought it would be closer to the middle to end of February. It seems like it's basically the beginning of February this is coming out. So we were, within a couple weeks of our predictions on when this Revan would be coming back out.
Yeah. And we kind of got some differing opinions on what this means or what February is going to be. And for me, this kind of reinforces that we're getting a Heroes Fall type deal. We're going to need the new KOTOR characters that were released along with Revan, Jedi Revan, in order to get a Darth Revan.
Yeah, I'm definitely. Basically, I think it still boils down to February is going to be Sith month. It's going to be another dark side month, and yeah, Revan's going to be there right at the beginning of February, but overall, it's going to be another Sith month. Now, the other thing that listening to the community, looking back through history, is usually the second go-around of a Hero's Journey event or Legendary event usually signals the fall of that meta. So, is this the end of the Revan meta? As of right now, no. Because we haven't had any characters in the pipeline to change that meta. But we also haven't had a marquee character, and what we were just talking about before we started recording was 2 months. It's been 2 months since we've had a marquee character. Seems like we have to have a shift here shortly soon, right?
Yeah, I would think so. Something's got to be coming.
Yeah, no marquee in 2 months really signals to me that if you do occasionally spend for a marquee character, February may be another good month to do that, because it probably would be characters that are designed to shift the meta. Or will it be what we potentially talked about, the end of the month, these second round of Old Republic characters come into the game and bring in another legendary character to help shift out Revan?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm leaning toward. I mean, obviously, you still want Revan. If you're still not quite prepared or don't know what you want to gear, Revan's still the easy button for 99% of the teams out there for Grand Arena. I don't know how much of an impact it's going to make in actual arena.
Oh, yeah.
But for all the other modes in PvE, yeah, you want it for that.
Oh, yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's not worth going after Revan now. I'm saying that just the one game mode of Arena, the Legendary Hero's Journey event characters tend to shift after the second time comes back, even though those characters become critical for raids and territory wars, Grand Arena, and all the other aspects of the game. He's still very critical, very important, and a must-have character in those game modes, but expect him to be a little bit less useful within Arena. But
right. And also the good news is, too, the characters you have to farm, you really don't need to gear them up that much. A Gear 8 and a strong Bastila, that'll get you through it.
Well, you don't... Honestly, I wouldn't even worry about any of those characters, because right now, every single one of those characters, I can give you a team that they fit very well into. Because Bastila and Jolee are great in a Revan team, or splitting them up and creating two teams for Grand Arena or Territory Wars. Mission and Zalbar are amazing in a Scoundrel team. And then T3 is just an overall good tank, especially for droids, so I could see him being very useful also. So any of those characters are actually really good, and has I don't see any waste of gearing them up.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like Veteran Han and Veteran Chewie, where you gear them up to try to get past the event, and there's no use for them, or very limited use for them afterwards, the event. These characters will fit into almost every game mode that you play currently.
Yeah, I have to agree there. So we think we're going to get a new marquee character. Next couple should get the February login character, which is going to kind of clue us in on the direction the game is heading. What's going to be your dream marquee character? Or maybe nightmare character?
Oh, man. I mean, my dream character would actually be them going into either Clone Wars month and actually releasing some more clones, which I doubt is going to happen, or actually like Dr. Aphra and the Murderbots, 000, and that type, and going into old canon and the universe, the extended universe and everything like that would be really cool for me to see, but I doubt that's going to happen.
You know what? I think it would be a good fit with, quote unquote Sith month. They're kind of archaeologists digging into Sith history, as I understand it. If I forget it wrong, let me know that. And I think it'd be a cool fit. Before we really get into the prequel era, which I still think is coming, this is a nice little window, which would be a good spot for those characters.
And I guess it kind of blends into a little bit of the extended universe in which the Old Republic characters are coming in, which would fit in with either Malak or Revan coming in and things like that also.
Right.
So, I mean, that's kind of where I feel like it's shifting. It's going to be back over to another Sith team, in which, kind of like the Jedi have right now, where you can run a Bastila team, or you could run a Jedi Knight Revan team. And in Territory Wars, there's a good balance where you can split two teams up right now. But for Sith, you really have the Traya team, and that's it. I mean, you can kind of put together a Maul team, but it's okay. It's not anything to write home about. Like, you see a Jedi Knight Revan, then you see a Bastila team right behind them. Both of them make you nervous. So it could be just another leadership for Sith, in which you can actually split up the teams then and create two really good teams.
Yeah, possibly. But, if they're going after arena meta, I don't know how they're going to get, past the power creep problem. Because, the Triumvirate came out and was just dominant. And Revan came out and was even more dominant. And if you're going to switch it back to the Sith and have something that can be more powerful than, take out a Revan team and be more powerful than your Traya team, holy crap, man, that's going to be a heck of a team.
Yeah, but they've been doing a very good job at that since Traya came out. Because Traya came out, Jedi Knight Revan kind of took out Traya only because of the mechanic to target Traya right off the bat. But CLS and Chewie and C-3PO came out, and all of a sudden that team can just walk over either one of those teams now in Arena if you mod them correctly. On offense, they just walk through them. So I could see another balancing act in which you could have 4 teams that could all walk over each other. Granted, maybe that Sith team holds a little bit better on defense than the other 2-3 teams, but it would still work. And all three or four of those teams could all win on offense.
Yeah, I hope it ends up that way.
That seems to be more where they're actually shifting within the game, is creating a lot of different teams that can win on offense, and then having basically one team that's a little bit harder to beat on defense. And that's mainly because of a newer mechanic that's designed to counter the current meta at that time.
Yeah, well, that being said, are you planning to Revan team for your Arena?
As of right now, no. But I am very close. I have all the pieces set up except Jolie is the only character I'm actually missing on that Revan team. So I'm going to get Revan. I'm going to work on gearing him up and kind of see where and feel out where February leads us. So if I can hold out a little bit longer for Darth Revan or Malak or whatever marquee character comes in and kind of shifts everything towards, I may just shift right towards that and have Revan there in the background for Grand Arena and Territory Wars. Or if I'm not seeing anything major and Revan's going to continue on, I'll be able to somewhat quickly gear him up and get that team ready to go. I have all the Zetas saved up, so that's not a problem. It's really just gear / Carbantes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sitting pretty right now with my Revan team, and I'm hoping the meta don't shift too much, but I have a feeling it's going to. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's my fear. I'm not going to worry about my Arena team until I feel out what February is going to bring us, and then kind of really go from there, because you know how much I enjoyed remodding.
Oh, yes. So much fun.
But yeah, let's get into... We really didn't have anything else. We had a small little bug fix update, which went through, updated, and I still don't exactly have any idea what it actually did.
It was something with the Millennium Falcon stealth mechanics.
Oh, yes, that's what it was.
Yeah. And they added a protocol droid to the in-game graphics saying the game is about to reboot.
Oh.
So, there you go.
Yeah. Everybody needed that. Needed to know that. It was... So nothing major again. It was kind of surprising, but
yeah, well,
I'll take it.
They announced the next Territory War is going to have the same bonus as the last one with the Ewoks and the
clones,
the clones and the troopers, which I thought was pretty fun. So we'll get one more shot at that. And February 10th version will be back to just plain old vanilla. So and that's cool too.
Yeah,
that kind of gives something for everybody.
I kind of prefer that. If they went through and did the Territory Wars, if they aren't going to do like 1 month straight of the same bonuses, alternating back and forth between a regular and a bonus-laden Territory Wars, I'd be perfectly happy with. Still would like them to mix up the maps a little bit, just to throw a little variation to it, but I'll take it.
Yeah, and I also kind of like bringing back the bonuses. That way, if you want to invest in the characters some and use them for the next time, you have a chance to. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Let's get into the Marquee Watch, and then we'll go into Grand Arena, how we made out there.
Yeah, sure. Marquee Watch, nothing exciting here. We're still tracking free-to-play for Juhani and Karth in the next week or two. We originally estimated February 22nd and 23rd. They have been hitting 2 to 3 weeks prior to that. So I could see an update putting them free to play next week. And from there, 2 to 3 weeks for whatever these characters are going to be needed.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking too. So our original estimate of the 22nd or 23rd of February seems to be, I would guess, an actual event rather than the character going free to play.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. We'll be able to kind of see a little more once they release the February calendar, and we can look for any blank spaces in it and start speculating from there.
Yeah, and it just I keep saying it, but it is absolutely baffling to me to watch our marquee watch, and is down to 2 characters. That's it. Just 2 characters are on our marquee watch, and both of those we expect to go through and drop off our marquee watch next week. So it's just so odd, especially when we went through and had all the KOTOR characters, all these bounty hunter ships and bounty hunters. We had like 10 or 12 characters on our marquee watch all at one time, and now we're down to basically nothing.
Yeah. We have a little table set up on our show outline, and it used to take up a full page, and now it's only a little bit, and that's only because I haven't deleted off some of the columns yet.
Yeah, still baffling. But let's actually, before we get into the 3v3, I almost forgot about this that you have written in here. There were videos coming out this week about a Millennium Falcon counter team.
Yeah, McMull put one out there. It was really good. And turns out the Geonosians are still pretty handy in taking out a Millennium Falcon team. Watch his video. He breaks it down. He shows you really what you need to do. And the gist of it is basically survive. You need to use Houndstooth, use the Geonosians. Vader's a good reinforcement for that as well. And just get it to where you can have Thrawn use his ultimate and start taking out dudes.
Yeah, so I take it still a little bit of RNG, or quite a bit of RNG to it, to be able to keep them alive, to be able to do this?
Yeah, it is. Depends on who gets stealth and whatnot, but it's about the best counter I've seen so far. And yeah, I still see them in my fleet chart too. They're top 10, top 20 with just the Geonosians. So it's not quite night and day having Millennium Falcon. It's night and maybe early morning, a little bit of sunlight.
It is pretty close. I only have seen 1 or 2 teams that actually climb into my top 10 that does not have the Millennium Falcon, and they only climb up there for a very short amount of time during payout, and then they drop down fairly far very quickly because of all the Millennium Falcons.
Yeah, on offense, if I'm looking at my matchups and I see a Geonosian team, I'm going for them every time because it's just almost hit auto and win.
Yeah, it's basically as soon as you blast through Houndstooth, you can hit auto and you're almost a guarantee to win then. But the only thing I've really noticed is when you're getting towards the top 5, top 10 with the Millennium Falcon, Rebel versus Rebel, it's almost completely speed dependent based on what mods you have on your, basically Akbar, really. That's about it. And what mods you have on them. And the quicker Akbar is going to win.
Yeah, mods in your Gear 6, or I'm sorry, Gear 12 pieces.
Seem to be a big difference. And even then, it's like, if you're equally matched or just missing a mod or one gear piece difference between the two, it's still somewhat RNG, even if you're on the good side of that. There are some quirks in there that, how many times is Millennium Falcon going to counter with you? If he doesn't counter, all of a sudden, and your opponent counters and takes out one of your ships, you're pretty much done.
Yeah, and it can be a little frustrating with that much RNG. But, yeah, it is what the meta is right now. Maybe we'll get some new capital ships soon and start, no, I say soon. I don't see them nullifying this ship anytime soon. They want to get people their money's worth out of it.
I don't see them nullifying it, but I see them adding a capital ship in which gives them the opportunity to actually shift the meta. I'm not sure if anything right now, capital ship wise, will actually shift that meta without adding a new capital ship and then building up from there, which will take a while. But yeah, let's that's ship. Let's get into 3v3 because that was a lot of fun this week. I enjoyed it. I mentioned last week that I was going to tried to get paired up with Zara, one of our listeners, and it did work out. We did get paired up in the same bracket. Bad news is we never got paired up against each other. So we were there and we were kind of going back and forth, helping each other out on what defensive teams and kind of scouting opponents for each other, which definitely was helpful as far as going through and getting an idea of what everybody in our bracket was doing. So that was nice, but unfortunately we did not get paired against each other, which was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, that's trying to get my words right here. It's kind of cool how you can kind of game the system to matchmake. We saw some dudes in the Shattered Order get matched up as well. But it's kind of a shame you can't really depend, guarantee you're going to match up with somebody per se, just be in the same shard. I didn't get matched up with anybody I know, and my Grand Arena didn't turn out too well for me. I ended up with one win, but it seemed like you did a lot better than I did this round.
Yeah, surprisingly. I was not expecting to do very well bumping up into that 4 million GP bracket, but yeah, went through, and I actually won. So I won all 3 of my matches. I actually did not even... I was helping Zara out more with defensive teams going up through the ranks, but was able to win all 3. The first one I got a full clear. The next 2 really kind of shocked me because basically my opponents went through and they went all defense. They literally went through and set CLS, Treya, Revan, Bosk, Kira, Nest, anything I could think of that they would want to save for, or even kind of split up offensive defense. They put everything on defense. And I did a mix. So I was able to go through, concentrate on one zone, and was able to clear out the front zone, get to the back, finish out the back, and clear out 2 full zones both times. And my opponent wasn't able to get through. One wasn't able to get through any zones. One was able to get through one and got stuck on my bounty hunter team. And that was that. They just couldn't pull off enough points because they overcommitted on defense.
Yeah, cool. I went really strong on offense and really kind of mismanaged my teams. Looking back at it now, I didn't leave myself strong counters for other teams. So lesson learned there. You got some good notes here. Maybe I cut on your expertise.
Yeah, so I went through and kind of wrote out, just tried to figure out where we were seeing success and failures within 3v3. And I wrote down a list of ones that I'm actually finding that good use. Now, the first list I have here is good both on offense and defense, because let me tell you, going up against these teams were very difficult. I went through, a lot of these required me to do multiple battles, and basically just through attrition, I was able to get through them. CLS, Han, and Chewie. CLS, just in general, is a very difficult team to get through on 3v3, 5v5, anything. So you can put him on offense, defense. He will go through and wreck teams.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
JTR BB-8 R2 or JTR BB-8 Ray, Holdo. That combination is very difficult to get around and also very good to counter. Pretty much, there's a lot of teams that go through and counter.
Yeah, I like Resistance Trooper on that team too because his Dispel is just so useful.
I tend to use Resistance Trooper there with Finn, Poe, and Resistance Trooper in that trio, just because they're so good and have so much synergy together doing exposes to be able to get around a team, and I mainly use that just strictly on offense.
Okay.
The next couple teams actually are Night Sisters. A Mother Talzin lead or Asajj lead. You split those up, both of them are very hard to get around. And you have to have specific teams to be able to get around them, especially Mother Talzin. Another one. Yeah, go ahead.
I like doing a Mother Talzin, Daka, and Zombie defense, and that seems to really trip people up. I've had a lot of successful defenses on that. The problem with that, and I found this out in my matchups, is Mother Talzin's such a good offensive character as well. She will eat through a lot of teams, especially, like a JTR or shoot.
Basically, anybody who doesn't have any health regen possibilities, she'll just eat through. But yeah, so both Night Sister teams, or pretty much any combination, I really haven't seen any bad combinations as long as the leadership is Asajj or Mother Talzin on both sides, offense or defense. Offense or defense also would be, obviously, Traya, Darth Nihilus, Darth Sion. Obviously, great either spot.
Oh, yeah.
Revan, another one. Either spot, great. And Bossk bounty hunters, or just bounty hunters in general, seem to be tripping up a lot of people.
Yeah, you get caught up against a fast Bossk, and you burn through your A-teams, that's almost a wrap. It's real hard to get through them.
Yeah, and there's a couple combinations that I've seen with that boss team that make it very difficult. And then, what other one? Oh, First Order in Kylo Ren Unmasked with the 2 Kylos. That team is very difficult to get through in either for offense or defense. It counters a lot of teams.
Yeah, who do you throw in on your third for that?
I don't have First Order geared up. So
okay.
The ones I've actually struggled with more is actually First Order Stormtrooper.
That one could be a tough one, especially if he's Zeta'd. I like to use Executioner on mine, just hiding him behind crew. You can just start building up that health and just really start doing some damage after a while if you can keep him alive that long.
My thing is, well, especially the defensive teams, any team that bounces taunts back and forth, in which you can hide characters and it's taunt one after another. It's like Kylo Ren Unmasked, you start getting damage on him, and all of a sudden First Order Stormtrooper starts taunting, and then Kylo Ren Unmasked can attack and actually get his health regen back up, and then all of a sudden then he's taunting as First Order Stormtrooper starts getting dwindled down, and those bouncing taunts are just very difficult to get through.
All right.
So those were the teams that basically I felt and I used on offense, saw on defense, and they figured they could be used either or. They're great in both teams. Now, defensive teams that I've seen that have worked well for me and actually going up against Bastila, Grandmaster Yoda, and Mace.
Yeah, I have seen that a few times.
And that Bastila leadership going through and basically creating a pre-taunt on Mace to hide behind so Grandmaster Yoda hides behind him and then just starts taking people out. I went through and had a lot of success in my Grand Arena with that team. And then, as you mentioned, that boss team being a quick boss team, I've seen a couple combinations of this. I've been using Bossk, Boba, and then Cad Bane. And mainly been using that with Cad Bane having some potency on him. So he just starts stunning people. And it gets very frustrating for people, them trying to set everything up, and all of a sudden all their characters just keep getting stunned.
Yeah, that too, and you're trying to build up so many buffs to get through Boska's health, and then Boba just executes you, and that's a wrap. Yes,
exactly. So I've had a lot of success with that team. Obviously, you could put Dengar in there, Embo, Jango would be another great alternative. I just don't have... I'm using Dengar somewhere else, and Boba and Django and Embo I don't have geared up yet, and I want to. The next defensive team was Kira, Nest, and L3 is who I'm using.
Yeah, I've seen that with L3 or Vandor Chewy. Yeah, if they're able to get one of them down and Vandor is prepared, they're coming right back.
Yeah, I just like L3 going through, and I have my L3 fairly quick, so it makes it very hard to get around that taunt, and then you start attacking Kira to try to get her out, and L3's turning back around and getting health regen and then taunting again. Just makes it a very difficult team to get through.
Yeah, for sure.
And then,
I still think people kind of underestimate those solo characters for whatever reason.
That seems to be where the most defensive wins have been coming from what I've seen, is characters that are either miscellaneous Old Republic characters that are plugged into a team, or the solo characters and the scoundrels. Actually, not even, I can just generalize, just the scoundrels in general. People seem to underestimate them and not take in a strong enough team to take them out.
Yeah.
Which kind of goes through,
it does take a lot.
Yeah, which is kind of how I'm working on the other defensive team, is a spot. I've seen a lot of successes with people having them, is Mission and Zalbar. I'm working on a team, figure out a leadership spot. Did have a couple messages that I've seen for an idea for a leadership, but I don't know if I want to go through and use that leadership or try to figure out like placing Karth or another scoundrel leader. I'm working on ideas for that leadership ability to pair up with those two for a 3v3.
Yeah. Another good team I saw was a Thrawn lead with Death Trooper and Shore. The protection regen from Shore and Thrawn made it really hard to get through. Plus, he fractures somebody, and that takes out a third of your team, and Death Trooper's lined up to death mark you as soon as somebody goes, as well as Dispel. That's a tough team to get through, too.
Yeah, that one is very difficult, and I did see that team, did have to burn a couple teams and strategically get around that team because of just the way it locks everything down, turn meter reduction, cooldowns, health regen. It is a very difficult team to get around. Then, kind of finally, I want to go through and talk about the offensive teams that I had the most success with. And some people might not realize it with some of these. So, my first offensive team I've been using is actually JTR, BB-8, and R2. And at first glance, you would think it doesn't have enough DPS to get through anything. But, man, R2 just does a number. He goes through and puts up burning on everybody, prevents the dodge, JTR's hitting, the stuns. It's just an amazing team. You can control your opponents very well and actually go through and get around it. It does take time to get through a lot of these A teams with this team, but it does work very well. That's how I've been getting around bounty hunters.
Okay, so that'd be your anti-bounty hunter team. Okay.
Yes, that's how I'm getting around Bosk. Basically, because JTR will go right in. I can turn meter reduction Bosk. I can use R2 to either stun Boba or Cad Bane to prevent my characters from getting stunned. And then I can just work at them. And they do enough damage where I can knock out Boba Fett pretty quickly. I can shift to Cad Bane and just constantly keep Bosk turn meters down and stunned. So he's not involved in the battle at all until the very end.
Sounds good.
Then the next team I kind of went through and created. I like using Akbar lead with C-3PO and then Leia. It's basically a lot of assist and constantly calling in Leia to blast through people. You have to watch teams with health regeneration per attack, but any of those B teams, pretty much they just wipe everybody out. Slowly but surely, they'll just go through and take everybody out.
Yeah, I can see that too. I think Leia's kind of an underappreciated character, especially with the Princess Zodi team not being prevalent anymore.
Yeah. So a lot of people have her geared up. she does take quite a few stun cuffs to gear up, but overall as a gear, not heavy on Carbonte, so not too bad. Next team I have listed is actually just Rex and Wampa.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they will just wreck about anybody.
Yeah, and I really just have Rex in there, try to make Rex pretty quick, just to throw Tenacity up on Wampa to prevent the stuns. That's the only time I've really had difficulties with Wampa, is he gets stuck behind a stun or gets stunned, and then game over. He just gets burnt down, and that's the wrap. Done. So I put Rex in there just to kind of work on preventing that as much as possible.
Right. And if you're looking for that winning a fight with a small team, Rex and Wampa is a good combination for that.
Yeah. Next team I have, I actually went through this, pretty much came from me talking to Urzatron. Zam lead with Dengar and Greedo. Just thermal detonators out the wazoo, and they will take out. I only have Zam at gear 9, gear 8. And just going through, yeah, she dies, but just her leadership, allowing Dengar and Greedo to get all those thermal detonators out, goes through, and they explode and takes... As soon as you take out one character, it's pretty much game over for that opponent. And they'll just stack up with thermals and die. And then this last team I've been using was... what did I put? I'm not using that. Was wrong character. I
was about to ask you about that. So, that's bold choice.
Yeah, I've been using... basically, a lot of these teams go through. It's like those B teams, like Ewoks and some other things. They just go through and constantly nickel and dime you. A little bit of damage here, a little bit of damage there. Not a lot of big burst damage. And I've been trying to get through these quests that require you to use General Kenobi within a team on offense. So I went through and put General Kenobi, Zaris, and Jedi Knight Anakin. They are very beefy characters, and if you don't have enough DPS on a team, they aren't killing that team. So they basically just sit there, soak up damage, and just take out your team slowly but surely.
Yeah, man, I still got to put this 8 on Barriss. I keep looking at it and never do. I think I'm going to have to.
Yeah, she's a great plug-and-play character to go through and just add some survivability to a team. And then the last team that actually went through and helped me greatly these last 2 battles was Imperial Prodroid. And I've been pairing Imperial Prodroid up with Tarkin lead for the speed, and then throwing Royal Guard behind them. So if they do attack IPD, get his health down, Royal Guard will taunt. It'll give me time to basically just detonate, take someone out on that opposing team, and then kind of go from there. That's how I got through... I'm trying to think. It was either a Traya team or the Revan team I went up against. I threw them in there. They got IPD down and went through, took out the leader, and then it was pretty much game over. It was just picking them off one by one. Not having that leadership ability next time I went in helps so much.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to give up at least a bonus for a character surviving, but if that's the only thing keeping you from taking out a territory, don't forget about IPD. That's such a useful tool.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Ewoks, too. That's a really good offensive team. I like Chirpa, Elder, and Logray. And like you said, they can just chip away at teams and usually outlast them.
Yeah, right now I have my Ewoks. I tend to set my Ewoks more on defense just because I need a good team or a decent team over there. Because I have them geared up, I can place them on defense. You're going to require a specific team to get around them, but eventually I think I'll go through and create more specific defensive teams that I can go through and place on defense, and then shift my Ewoks back over to offense is the ultimate goal. But for right now, just jumping into that 4 million bracket, they have to be on defense for me.
Yeah, makes sense.
And, I mean, that was kind of a quick rundown, but that's what I've taken away from this 3v3 territory wars on what teams are good, what teams are not so much bad, but what's actually working in 3v3. The only thing I can say is watching my opponents, save yourself something for offense. If you go through and place everything on defense, the only way you're going to win is basically hoping your opponent did the exact same thing or went completely on offense and just set garbage. That's the only way you're going to get by them. So you need to go through and figure out a balance of, all right, say they have Traya. All right, they're going to put Traya on defense. What do I have to counter Traya? And you have to have a team for that. So I've been balancing it and basically putting half and half of what I consider good in either spot of offense and defense. Half of them I've been saving on for offense, half of them for defense, and that seems to be helping, especially those guys that went very heavy on defense against me. I was able to take that half I had, clear out a zone, and get through, and they aren't able to get through those harder teams that I set because they set all those counters there on defense. So it's worked out so far, but just remember, you got to save yourself something on offense.
Yeah, got to balance it out.
Yeah, now that we have news for Revan, we've got another Grand Arena 3v3, we have Territory Wars coming up. What are you grinding on to get ready for all this stuff?
Oh, man, I am still in full panic farm mode of the KOTOR characters, hoarding gear up, it's trying to be prepared for whatever they throw at us. My grinds are actually going fairly well. I've got Canderous at 55 of 85 already. Basila's at 52 of 85, so they're about neck and neck. Still working on Django and B28 when I get a little bit of extra energy here and there. Should have Django to 6 stars here pretty soon. He's sitting at 83 of 85. My B28 I got at 28 of 30. Sith Fighters at 51 of 100. I still think that Sith ships are going to be needed for something at some point, because why the hell else would you put the B28 of all things in this game? And then Anakin's fighter got a 1 to 65. So that's where I'm at, just waiting for the next shoe to drop.
Yeah, I'm kind of, well, like I said before, I'm finishing up those scoundrels because of Grand Arena, because of Territory Wars. I pretty much have them all zated out. They're all closing in on, I'm down to Zalbar to try to get up to Gear 11, and all the rest of them are just a couple pieces from Gear 12, so they should be wrapping up very shortly to switch over to Revan. But, yeah, going through Fallen Basila, 36 of 65, that's going decently. I'm just doing 2 refreshes. I finished up Canderous, was able to finished up L3 and jumped on Canderous this week, and I'm already at 34 of 65, so moving along very nicely there also. And
yeah, oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, you're talking about refreshes. I'm doing all the energy refreshes up to 200 on Basila's and the Cantina energy. And I mentioned, I think, either last show or show before last, I had 34,000 crystals saved up. With my arena income, I'm still sitting at 31,700 crystals. So I'm pretty much in a good position to really buy 2 characters whenever they go free to play, if it comes down to it. I hope I don't need to, but that just kind of goes to show you that investing in your arena team, if you can get it to where you can be top 1 or 2, and it almost makes this game free to play again.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that, because for Basila, I'm only doing that 1 refresh, so doing that 2 8 attempts. Canderous, I am buying those 3 100 refreshes for energy,
And I'm basically treading water with crystals based on getting top 10, top 5 payouts just in ships, and then my normal, basically top 20 in arena. So that's not even going through and top 10 in both. And you can go through and tread water and actually buy all those refreshes, because I'm buying all normal, the 350 and the 3100 refreshes of the 350 regular energy refreshes and then the 3100 Cantina energy refreshes every day, and I'm treading water based on the crystal income that I have. I'm not going through and gaining stuff to buy any gear right now or go through and save anything up to buy character shards, but I'm doing very well on farming these characters very quickly and getting them up and getting them prepared for anything that's coming into the game.
Yep, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I mean, other characters, obviously, I am still working on Houndstooth, and Django goes along with that. They're doing well. I think I'm at 40 of 100 on Houndstooth, so he's moving along and using Lando's Millennium Falcon and Lando. They're 34 of 100. So once again, moving along. They're getting there. They're getting close to 7 stars and wrapping up, so I can shift to something else, probably either B-28 or the Sith Fighter, something like that. Help out the guild with platoons.
Right, yeah. It's the key.
Because they're in everywhere. But I think that's it for this week. We had a slow week from CG. We kind of wrapped everything up. Got to talk a little bit about Grand Arena. So let's get everything wrapped up and get on out of here.
Yeah, sounds good. I think next week's going to be a fun show. Can't wait. But in the meantime, leave us a review. Check us out on Discord. We got a link in the show notes. Check out thealliancegaming.com for other cool content creators. And you can email us at cantinavizla@gmail.com. And if so inclined, check out our site at patreon.com/cantinavizla. We got the tip jar out and appreciate.
Well, I kind of lost
That's
you.
all I have to say.
Yeah, I kind of lost you there for a second, but yeah. We appreciate everybody, and until next time, guys, later.
As you are exiting the cantina, we would like to say thanks for stopping by, and we hope to see you out on the hollow table soon.